And I'm here with the boys from Offside, joined by Ronnie / CJ / what was the other name?
Slim Dick Seeds.
Slim and Aidan. That was the other one. And Ethan, who only has one name.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Not cool enough to have multiple.
He's cool, man. Come on, he's very cool.
One day he'll have like 4 names.
Cool enough to have one name.
Cool enough to have one name. So I was checking out your guys' stuff a lot the last few days, and you guys are a relatively new band, right? 2 years you've been around?
Yep.
2 years?
Around about 2 years, yeah.
And what a mix of stuff on like an EP. I had to listen to like, I can't pronounce, what was it?
Samview.
Samview. Fuck, I was like, I'm going to try it now. I was going to ask.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I was listening to that, and I was like, a 1 minute drum intro. I was like, bold. That's cool. And then I like listened to more of it, and I'm like, I understand why that's one of your most played songs, because I really like the melodies and the directions it goes. Yeah. I feel like I haven't listened to music in a little bit where I feel like I'm taken on, especially like a more. You guys are kind of across a lot of territory, but that felt very like progressive. And then the structure is a little bit loose. It's not like you're kind of the verse, the chorus. It's sort of like, we go over here and then go over here. And I really enjoyed that. And then you got kind of like there's some thrash metal stuff in there, like some punk rock. What was that track I was listening to before? So I can't remember. It had like that like intro, and I was like, it sounds like Metallica. Like, what, you guys listened to Kill 'Em All before?
Yeah.
It sounds a bit like that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then some like Chili Pepper funky stuff, and I was like, wow, you guys are really definitely setting up real good. There's a lot of ways to go, which I think is a cool way to start like your first releases.
Yeah,
gives you a lot of room to grow.
Thank you, man.
That was one thing we didn't want to do. We didn't want to stick to one genre.
Yeah.
And we all listened to all sorts of different shit.
Yeah. It literally ranges from like what Ethan will listen. Like it's all kind of can be the same. Like a lot of the time we do link up really well musically, I think, because of that reason. But at the same time, like what Ethan will listen to during the day compared to what I will, compared to what Jed will, compared to what Mitch will, can literally be the 4 ends of the earth. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's what we try and sort of keep with our music, is keeping it as broad and open and just open to whatever kind of genre that we just kind of feel
like people ask like, oh, what kind of genre music you play, and I don't know what to say.
Just say alternative rock.
Yeah, that's usually
because that's kind of like the go-to, I think, for you guys as well. It's like it covers a lot. It's got guitar in it. It's got some singing. It's got some drums and some bass. Sweet.
Oh yeah, and then it's all from there.
Yeah. You don't really know. So what's sort of like for this EP? Because I imagine because it's your first release. Have these songs been around for a while? Like someone's guitar riffs, have they been like stored up for a bit? So what were like the initial influences for this EP?
Well, so I joined on last. So when I joined up 2 years ago, they were looking for singers. They almost ended up with like an Amish rock band.
An Amish rock band.
Yeah, we knew a dude from around the ways, and he was kind of like keen on music a little bit at the time, but kind of just like, oh yeah, I'll get around it, get around a jam. So we're like, okay, cool, like bring him in to come and do some vocals, and ended up being his brother who came along with him. Actually, ended up sort of writing a little bit more than he did, and it ended up sounding kind of more like a pirate old ballad type thing. So
right,
and it kind of just it wasn't really suiting. So we were a bit like, okay, maybe we won't get this guy back. We need to find someone else.
Was he talking about being at sea and finding treasure? And you're like, I'm not sure this is what we're looking for.
Yeah. And then so we kind of were just looking around, and Jed knew Ethan from back in the day, from school times and that. And
and I was away on holiday in the Coromandel and saw a Facebook post, and I'd kind of stopped the music thing, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. And now here we are.
Yeah,
I've got an EP out, and so the songs on the EP, Push and Pull and BBW, those were one of 4 that first time I met up with them, they laid down and all the music was done, and I just pretty much had to put vocals to it.
Nice.
And they played me them, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, here we go.
Me.
Yeah.
Is BBW, does that stand what I think it stands for?
No.
Oh no, what does it stand for?
I feel like I shouldn't have said no, but just to keep it like
whatever you think it is, it's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
whatever region, whatever order, it's what it is.
All right, sweet.
But yeah, even like so those 2 songs were like the first songs that we had sort of made. So It was me, Jed, and we had another drummer at the time, Sam, and they actually had another bass player at the time named Joe. So I had joined the band initially as another guitar player, and then Joe had a kid, and sort of that became more of his life, understandably, you know. So
Sure.
I had a bass at home, and I was like, man, I really like playing bass, and if we're going to be writing a few songs, then if he's not going to show through, then I'll jump on so we can get the progress happening until
True.
he can make it back.
A bassist who loves playing bass.
Yeah,
Oh,
insane,
it's
right?
a rare breed, man.
Yeah.
I think I've only met 5 in my life who just aren't guitarists who just got shoved to bass.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
So no, that's cool.
Yeah, so we just had been rolling on those songs. So Push and Pull was really the first song that we had written as the 3, and then as soon as Ethan joined, it was pretty much the first song that we had written as a cohesive unit. And from that day, we were just like, this is definitely the guy, and this is a really great song. And have always and it's actually something that I really love about Ethan's ability as a singer, as well as anytime we're writing, because we're always trying to be as creative as possible. And usually every couple jams, someone will have something new to work on, or we'll be sort of starting to piece stuff together.
Yeah.
And generally, the first thing that this man will come through with ends up being the melody for the song. And it's like, dude,
That's awesome.
And some of the stuff that you like, and for me as just one of the musicians, like being like, bro, I wouldn't have even been able to comprehend making a melody like that. So it's super cool to just be able to hand something over to him, and he's like, okay, cool, got it. You know, just super simple like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the great thing as well. If you guys got different sort of musical influences and different things going on, you bring ideas like, I would have never thought of that. It's really important, I think, to have that. Like,
Yeah,
especially if you were actually a proper bassist. Because then the guitarist comes along and plays something, you're not just doing that. You're like, oh, I got like some little in-between licks or some other things to do. And it's like, oh, that just adds so much more depth to the song, you know?
Exactly,
People won't realize it straight away, but when you stop playing with bass, I always say, like, people will notice, you know, when the bass stops. So.
Yeah, big time.
So-
I think it's definitely a role thing, you know. I mean, every instrument obviously has its role, but yeah, for me, bass is more so because I started out playing guitar, so I've been playing guitar for a longer time than I've been playing bass. But with the bass, it was more so okay. Rather than just trying to copy what the guitar player is doing, I kind of want to try and find where I fit in the song type thing, you know. Rather than being the flashy dude or whatever, it's like okay, just need to kick back, serve whatever the boys are trying to come up with at the time, and yeah, just roll on like that. So
Serving the song, a lesson we all must learn.
exactly, man. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, definitely. Have you? So the recording process. The songs sound like in the middle of like could be at home, but maybe in some studio. Like I can't quite figure it out.
Gotcha.
So we
Did you
did
guys
that
record
at Big Fan.
Oh, Big Fan.
Yeah.
Oh, recorded at Big Fan.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But it was all within a week. Was it 1
Yeah,
week?
yeah.
And we were so ready to record everything. So
Yeah.
once we got in there, like it was just bam, bam, bam. And the producer guy was kind of like, "Oh shit, you all know what you're doing." And we're like, "Yeah, we've been sitting on this for so long."
Yeah, man.
But it was good. We kind of got in and out of there real quick.
Yeah.
And then mastered them and slowly dropped some out.
Yeah. It was actually a really cool process because even so we sort of started out with the drums and then went bass the next day and the guitars the next day, vocals the next, and then it was quite interesting sort of because all of us were there every day for whether we were tracking ourselves that day or whether we were just to be there just to kind of I don't know, I suppose just be there as like a support role and also just kind of like throw our ideas out if we had any at the time and yeah.
Did much change in the recording process to the songs? Like guitar parts change, bass parts, drums, vocals? Or was it just adding
For
like
me,
little
it
extra?
did, like, I came on, started singing. I didn't play too much guitar because like the songs just sounded like they didn't need another guitar. Jared, our lead guitarist, is real good at just playing guitar. Like he's the lead guitarist, but when I'm not playing, like you can't really tell there's only one guitar, you know, the way he plays.
Yeah, he's got a really great way of like mixing the lead in with the rhythm, but also not doing too much of either that it takes away from the riff, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And no one else sung, but I was like, tough shit. You're all gonna have to sing at some point.
That's actually really good though as a singer because like adding harmonies or backing vocals really enriches the song so much with choruses and is it definitely forgive me, I've listened to your songs but I've struggled with. Is it push and pull with all the gang vocals?
Yeah.
Is that the one that has
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That goes like that reminds like Tony Hawk Pro Skater core. That is. I'm listening to that and I'm like it reminds me of like doing grinds and shit. Like, well, not me.
That's
but
one of the
That was such a good game.
Yeah. Sick game, even better sound.
Yeah, I was like, that's like some Tony Hawk shit right there. I'm like, that's cool. It really gives me that. So, another thing curious about you guys, I'm kind of been trying to, a bit more of the podcast now, bringing people on and pursuing music. Like, what sort of like drove you guys to pursue music yourselves, like individually? Like, you guys know you're quite an early band. I'm assuming you've got quite big plans for the future and a lot of things you want to achieve, maybe more touring and go around the country, more releases. What sort of drove you to want to do music individually?
Well, for me, it was, I just always, from a kid, loved music. Like, I wasn't really, there's a picture of me when I'm like 4 years old and I'm holding a guitar and I got like this cheesy cowboy hat on. And like, from that day, I was like, both my parents were both really into music in their own ways too. Like, so when I would go from house to house, at all times, pretty much there was music playing and different kinds. Like my mum was always into like R&B and hip hop and a little bit of like the D&B, whereas my dad was like the Metallica and the heavy rock and heavy metal. And then just over the years, just always loving music and always wanting to explore and find new music. Because I think you get into those like sort of starter bands or the popular bands, like Nirvana's and the Foo Fighters, Metallica, all those bands. And then actually when Spotify came out, that was a big one because then it's like, oh man, you can actually just sit here and look for artists and then the latest artist sections as well. And you can find all this other music that previously you would have to go and buy the album or go on YouTube or something, and like look it up. So yeah, I just always was looking for new music at the time. And then once I sort of learned guitar, that was really all I did. I like didn't really do much else. I kind of stopped gaming as much and was just picking up the guitar, and then you sort of start writing your own sort of material and started writing your own songs and start writing lyrics, and just from there it just grew. And then coming to this point, I was kind of the same actually as Ethan, where I had sort of like left music alone for a little while, and then Jed actually hit me up one day. We met at a party and we were throwing a guitar back and forth. And he hit me up about 3 weeks later, being like, "Hey man, we're looking for a guitar player for a band. Do you want to come along for a jam?" We jammed, and then pretty much from that day, it was like, okay, cool. Like this is back on, and even more so than it had ever been in the past. So it made me want to get into it again, hard out. So yeah, that was my sort of reason.
Awesome,
big time.
What about yourself?
Yeah, so I was brought up like pretty religious, so like music was always around. But it was one night my dad put on a Stevie Ray Vaughan like live gig thing and just seeing him all sweaty and like playing, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And ever since then, yeah, I haven't really left it alone and picked up the guitar. I didn't know I could sing till like the first band I joined. They like heard me, they're like, oh, what the fuck? And I was like, well, I didn't know. I couldn't sing in front of anyone.
Were you like in the choir and that, and like church?
Yeah, that in like primary as well, and like singing at church. Yeah, but yeah, once I got like, I guess our current drummer Mitchell, he was like one of the main people from around when I was at college that I was in a band with, and he kind of gave me like a big push to like start doing shit and just learning off him as well. He went to Berkeley and Boston, and yeah, just watching him, and we've always like been in contact and would jam now and then, and we did like the pub thing where just the background music. But yeah, it was that was definitely the Stevie Ray Vaughan video was like turned me on real quick, and I was like, okay, I need to do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always like doing music is such a funny one, because like for me, talk about here a bit, it's like your perception of like being a musician when you're younger to then you get a bit older and like, ooh, reality of pursuing music is not easy, and there's a lot of things you got to do to pursue like your passion. And I guess what's something you guys have learned maybe together that has kind of been a bit of like a learning curve? You guys had any moments like that so far?
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
No.
Not cheap. It takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Did
that come as a surprise though? Was there something that came along that surprised you?
I guess I just didn't think about it, like how much work actually went into it, because you watch your favorite artists and you just see them doing their thing. But then actually it became a second job, like it still is, You finish your like day-to-day thing, and then you're like, oh, I've got to work on this song, or like I've got to finish these lyrics, or we've got a jam, or there's like a photo shoot happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd much rather be doing this than building.
Yeah, so that's the goal to strive for, man. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Trying to set that up, and I suppose like I was thinking about this a lot on this podcast, and a lot of it actually comes now to being a band is like brand building and things like that. Do you guys have much thoughts around kind of like adapting the kind of almost the business mindset and putting it into the band?
Well, that's what we've been trying to sort of learn. That's been something that I suppose I wouldn't say that we've learned it all the way yet, but that's something that we're trying to currently learn. Is like now, especially now that we have a project out and we're sort of starting to play a few more shows or trying to line up a few more shows than we'd had in maybe like the first year. I was trying to think, okay, well, how do we actually go about marketing ourselves a bit better, and who do we talk to make that happen, and what work do we need to put in that's more to be pushing everything forward, to like make it so that this music that we've not only spent a lot of time on and a lot of energy on, but a lot of money too.
Yeah.
How do we get that so that people can actually hear it, and actually want to see into us a little bit more? So, yeah, it's definitely a hard trail, but we're trying to figure it out as best.
There's a whole nother side to it apart from, writing the songs and playing them.
That's
what we've realized.
You realize that's like 30%.
Yeah. Well, we dropped the day we dropped the EP. I was kind of like real stoked, but then I was like, "Oh wait, we've got to do so much more shit now that it's out there."
Yeah,
like
you do all that work of recording and blood, sweat, and tears in the studio to writing, and then it's it's done. Nah. Time to promote it. Time to talk about it. Time to do everything like that. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I remember on this podcast a lot, so apologies for people re-listening, but I always mention Taylor Swift because I find what she's done to be quite interesting with a lot of things. But one of the most interesting things, I think, with one of her albums, I don't know which one, for the budget for the album. Which included all the marketing and all the production, everything. I think only 10% of the budget was for the recording of it.
Wow.
90% was like marketing.
That's insane.
So that's obviously, I don't know how, she got a massive budget, so I don't know how much, but we're probably talking at least $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? So that just kind of like says, which is weird for musicians because you're focused on the art and you go to the studio, you want to make it as amazing as you can or as the best product you can, well, not product, but you know what I mean, best thing you can. But then it's like, it's actually, like the focus. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I found that really hard when I was releasing music to get swap that mindset.
Yeah, I suppose because it's you put so much of yourself onto these songs and everything, so it almost feels in a weird way like you almost want people to hear it and you want to put it out there and be like, hey, look, check out like this piece of our soul in a way, but then you also don't want to like feel like you're compromising it by trying to push it in people's face, and that's almost probably a thing with the marketing is like, okay, so how do we do it that doesn't feel like we're
disingenuine, doesn't feel like dishonest,
without being cheesy and without trying to be too over the top or too crazy, but also being like, man, like we're excited about this and we want to show you, so like we want you to hear it and maybe get as jazzed about it as we were when we were writing it at the time, so I suppose that's a lesson to learn and just something that we're trying to go through at the moment as well. So,
definitely a one. I think younger musicians now are so much more onto this from what I've noticed, especially with like social media and all that stuff. But I just feel like even like for me and probably for you guys, like it was always like the record label might the idea was there, like potentially get picked up and then they'll probably sort things out, whereas that's kind of the older school thinking. But even like when I finished high school, it was like, the platform started becoming a thing. And then I remember, who was the first artist to get picked up by YouTube? Was it Justin Bieber? I'm trying to think.
Was it not?
Who was the first artist to get picked up on YouTube?
Well, I know the first one that was on there was Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy.
It was Soulja.
He was also MySpace though as well, wasn't he? He wasn't just YouTube.
Yeah. LimeWire.
Yeah. But I just remember like that being like a brand new thing. It's like, YouTube is now a discovery tool for finding musicians. Like obviously TikTok is A&R reps now. If you're a record label, it's crazy. I listened. I can't remember what musician it was. It was like some Reel or something. And he had a phone call with like Warner Brothers, one of those massive labels. And the guy's got probably 20,000 followers on Instagram. I can't remember how many streams on Spotify, but it does quite well. And then the label's like, you need minimum 50,000 followers, you need minimum like this amount of streams, and then we'll consider you. And then by that point, I'd be like, I don't want to sign to you. I've done everything. So the labels now come in and they want a fully established artist or band. And they just kind of come in and just, obviously they can help you take it to the next level in terms of maybe some exposure and maybe some distribution. I'd argue that because you can do that with the internet anyway. But it's you have to be a complete product now.
Which almost in a weird way is like if you're already that complete product, you in this day and age you probably don't even really need the label at that point, right? Like depending on I suppose your goals and what you want out of the music and everything.
I think it depends. I think like if you really want to get big,
Yeah.
like I'd suppose that's what you, if you want to maybe tour like with a huge band like Green Day or something, and you want to get put in touch with playing Coachella, you might have to liaise with a massive label to do something like that, unless you're just ridiculously popular. Where you just have so much leverage.
Yeah, man, big time.
So it's a funny time that we live in with that stuff. It's kind of like strange, but labels still manage to find a way to weevil their way in.
It is kind of it is weird because it's like it is a really good climate we're in for like independent artists who want to just put out music. You know what I mean? I know that like stuff like SoundCloud and Bandcamp's been around for years, and Bandcamp, you know, having the option of being able to I don't know if SoundCloud had it, but no, like Bandcamp being able to pay for the album, or even having the option of like, oh, you can just like choose how much you want to pay for the product. But even like now, just having all of these different platforms where you can actually release music and you don't really need a label behind you to even get off the ground, you know what I mean? Like it's not like the 90s where a lot of artists were having to either sell tapes out of their trunks or whatever and go out on the street and really like sell their product to the people to get any kind of buzz, because otherwise there's just no real way of like actually getting your music out there. Whereas now we're kind of a little bit spoiled for choice for it, which is good.
Yeah, great to get going. Hard to take it to that middle or higher tier. That's I think the part starting and getting going, and then taking it to that next level is like I think that's where most people seem to struggle.
Yeah,
and also like falsifying streams or followers and stuff. I talked about that on my last podcast actually a bit about that. I've seen it happen. Doesn't work.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no way.
Just like, I understand why people might do it to begin with. It's like if you're a brand new artist and like you might fall into the trap of like, oh, no one's going to pay attention to me unless I have X followers or X streams, which you shouldn't think like that. But I think it's quite, I think people can get insecure because I think people, you might think, oh, I've only got 50 followers. Then I'm not going to get taken seriously. But then if you think about it, if it's 50 people who care about your music, it's quite a lot. It depends how you want to like look at it, right?
Yeah, big time. And again, I think it's just on your goals, you know, like if people want to, and not only just your goals in general for like life, but in your goals of just creating music in the first place, you know, if your goal is to create music to get famous or to like get yourself to this status of life, then maybe that would make sense here. But if you just make music for the fact of just, I really fucking want to write this down, or I kind of need to get these thoughts out and express myself, then yeah, maybe you have a little bit of a different mindset towards it.
Yeah, and I think that the first 2 years, that's definitely, you can tell with us that our main focus was just the music. But now we have hit that learning curve where we're like, oh, we need to like pick up on that side of it as well.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Take it up to that next level.
Because I think we're pretty comfortable when it comes to the actual writing process of the songs, you know? Like there's a lot of times where we've come to jams and someone will have an idea, or even sometimes it'll just come up in the room, and by the end of that jam, the whole sort of basis of the song is there, and then by the next sort
That's
of...
quick.
Yeah, the next jam, it's sort of like piecing it all together or making little tweaks in that. And then we've had songs that we've also sat on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then they've finally made it over the line. And then the opposite end where we've gone over stuff for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then they just haven't made it, you know? Like, and I think that's important as well when you're creating, especially in a band, is kind of almost knowing if all these ideas are coming up, is when to kind of, okay, if we're moved on to 4 more songs since this riff, it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe that one, we're either going to come back to it later if it does come up, or it's kind of like just leave it there, and if it doesn't come up, then it's kind of moving on to the next thing, you know? Because maybe the next thing that was coming up was going to be better anyway, in a way.
So you guys don't spend too much time perfecting?
Oh,
since Mitchell's come on, like, we've had to kind of like tone it back with like the new material, because we just you want your bassist and the drummer to lock in, you know, and that happened instantly for these two. So, and I knew it would happen, and Mitchell was always in the back of my mind to like bring on. I even wanted to bring him on as like another guitarist because he can kind of do anything. Yeah, and just with new material or like little jams to warm up, everyone's like, oh, that could be something. And so I think it was last week we were like, okay, we need to just pick two and work on that because like we're kind of just like keep producing all this stuff. And we need to...
All right, we're going to do this song, this song, this song, this song. And I was like, bro, I'm still like getting my head around the first part.
You got like a surplus of material. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. No. Great thing. Sometimes.
But he's come to the table super well with it, you know, like even very early on, like with just the workload that we kind of gave to him, he just cracked it out super quick.
Yeah, he had to learn a lot of shit.
Yeah, man.
Like coming, because he came on right before we had one gig at Cassette, and then after that was our...
How was that?
That was good.
Cool, man,
that was through Breaking Sounds.
Yeah.
We've done 2 for them now at Cassette.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool venue to play.
I love it. Yeah, I used to go there a lot when I was younger. Like,
For the teapots.
Teapots, bro, getting fucked up. No, but great though, like because Cassette's always been a great venue for not just the teapots, but also the variety of gigs.
Yeah,
it was always like DJs to hip hop to rock to indie. It always had a massive mix to some weird stuff like you go, and so I always really liked it because compared to other clubs in Auckland, most of them would just have a DJ or something.
Yeah,
something.
big time.
So this is like it would have a bit more variety and be a bit more interesting, a bit more vibe.
I think the two gigs that we played there, there was at least one sort of acoustic songwriter, solo act, and then there would be like a R&B singer, and then there's us, and then there would be like some other crazy.
Yeah, it's good. It's always
band,
good
you know?
variety when we've played there. It's nice.
Cool.
It keeps the night interesting too in a way.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like now people are much more open to different music. I think because now with everyone with Spotify and streaming, everyone's kind of in their own little worlds. But I think people are more open to listening to other music rather than like I'm just rap, I'm just rock, I'm just X genre. I feel like a lot of that.
You so have to because there's just so much. There's so much music out there, and it's like, man, you're kind of like. Yeah, you're missing out if you're not listening to a bunch of different stuff, you know. And there's so much good music in New Zealand as well. Like there's so many talented artists that are on the upcoming or that have been around for a while, you know, that maybe aren't at that super famous level, but they're still super talented. And yeah, there's a lot going on in the scene right now, which is super cool.
It's very exciting. Well, I was really turned on to the recent like kind of resurgence of a lot of like punk rock in Auckland, especially in alternate rock. I didn't really realize it until I think last year or the year before, and I like after like the lockdowns and all that shit, going to like Big Fan, which opened up also very recently, and then I was like, oh, there's like a new scene that's kind of come about, which is really exciting because. When I was playing in like a band like 10 years ago, but like it was all like ding dong and like mainly there. And then there was, it's underground, still there's gigs at like Whammy Bar and all those places, but the scene was quite disjointed, in my opinion. It was always like kind of like punk. It was like hardcore bands over here, sort of like metal bands over here, and then like rock bands. It was all kind of like a bit segregated. I don't know if it's still quite like that, but then I like sort of start going to the local gigs were always like, it would always be a pretty average turnout for a while. Like, but I've noticed recently, like it's a big turnout. Like I got a Big Fan, and like I went to I think one of the first ones I went there was Crooked Royals, those boys, and they're much heavier, but that was sold out, which was awesome. Yeah, man. And then they're touring with like Periphery, which is sick. And then, really? They're doing really good. That's and then I saw like the Boondocks play there, and they sold it out, and I was like, holy crap. Yeah. That's great. And then Doug put on, you guys know Doug from Doug Fest. I went to that, and I'm just like, fuck, there's so much buzz. It just made me feel really good. I'm just like, it's really like reassuring because I guess like in high school, there was like in West Auckland, there was Zeal. Did you guys ever go to Zeal at all?
I heard about Zeal, yeah.
That was mainly like hardcore and like maybe some metal stuff, but that was like, again, sort of felt like almost like this, like a lot of people coming together in the community, and then maybe like every show would have at least 30 to 50 people.
Yeah.
And like people who were keen for the music and keen to get involved. and know the music as well.
Yeah.
They're not just like friends over there, just like, oh, you know, we're happy to help listen to your band or whatever, you know.
Sure.
It was a bit more so. It's been really cool, and I guess like as a byproduct, I kind of feel like I've been like having people on from it, and I'm like, oh, this is really exciting.
Yeah, from back in the days to now too.
Yeah, to like watching all these bands like even I played with years ago who are now doing quite well now, which is really great, and then new bands coming through who are getting like doing really well in the moment as well. Like Boondocks has been one I've just been like pretty like taken back by how well they've done, which is great.
Yeah, we love the
they
Boondocks.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Shout
mean,
out to those boys, man.
I've had them on here a couple of times.
Yeah.
Scotty, he's great. So
Yeah,
but
man, he's
it's,
been super. They've been super cool, like with us too. After meeting Scott, and he's just been super helpful and just always kind of giving advice and being like, "Man, you guys should be on this, should be on this." And
Yeah,
stuff.
before we organised our EP release, we met him at a pub like out by us because he's not that far from where we all are, and kind of like he helped us quite a lot. With like who to go. He even put us on to Scott Seabright,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
who we're
We're gonna go
meeting up
record
with
them soon.
like the end of the month. I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's,
yo, nice,
10th
nice.
of June, 10th of June, and 11th of June or something.
Yeah.
We're gonna go record a song with them. So that'll be
Exclusive.
good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, maybe don't put now. Yeah. But no, because I went to that the EP release show as well at big fan that they put on.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
so
sweet.
sick, man. Like all the bands over that whole night too. Late to Chelsea was super cool. Animal Head was sick. Pink Plates. Yeah, it was a cool night, man.
Yeah,
So,
no, it was cool.
Yeah.
It's just it's exciting to see people keen for local music, and I talked about this again last podcast, but I think it's just also after a lot of time, probably maybe post pandemic, but then also everyone feels so involved in their devices so much. I feel like there's a lot coming. I think a little bit of pushback with like music, seeing people like want to get out and like see and experience different things, because it's very easy, and I know I'm guilty of this, you know, I get sucked into my phone or sucked into shit, and it's like you're like, oh, like I need to get out, or like I need to go and do something rather than just sit around. So I'm hoping that people, especially in New Zealand, like just pay attention a bit more to like local music. I think that's something that's been hasn't been around as much in the last 10 or so years.
Yeah, big time.
So
For sure.
hopefully.
Yeah, man. That's the kind of thing I think. Like we try and do that, especially as much as possible with our live shows. You know, like we do spend a lot of time trying to, whatever set we're on, whether we're playing it somewhere like a set with like artists that we know are going to be this kind of genre, or if we're going to be playing like a heavier night, we do try and really fine tune and try and make our show a little bit more of a flow, you know, so that it keeps the vibe the whole time. We really
Got some
wanna try and
dynamics,
put on-
some
we
dynamics
try our
in
best
there.
to put on the best show for people, and I think for the most part we do pretty alright.
Yeah, I think that again, that's why it's good to like have that diversity in like genre, because we're like, okay, we're playing like we're the old folks ass.
Yeah.
We played there, and I was like, okay, we can play whatever we want. Like it doesn't matter. Be as loud as you want.
Yeah.
At the ass.
And then cassette, I'm like, okay, maybe we won't do the ones where we scream so much. We'll just turn it back a bit.
Yeah. For sure.
Got material to suit both places. Nah,
And
it's
it's
cool.
super fun even just with that. Like I love the fact that when we come to a jam, you know, like, and even in those times where where any one of us are writing, and you know, like we might come to a jam and I have an idea, Ethan has an idea, Jetto has an idea, and then they will all be all kind of different genres too, you know. So by the end of that jam, we've kind of played through like from super chill, kickback, kind of like sad stuff, to super heavy and like punked out, rocked out, to kind of almost like we have a new track at the moment that's kind of almost going like the Salmonella dub kind of D&B kind of.
Yeah,
route,
that
you know
was
what I mean?
that came out of nowhere too.
Yeah, and that was just
I noticed you guys got a bit of like that kind of like reggae roots kind of like sort of stuff in there. I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
like
man.
you can be at the beach and you can go like punk rock at the skate park afterwards.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, man. No, it's good fun. Love it.
Awesome. What do you guys outside of doing music? What else? What do you guys do?
Ooh, I'm a little bit boring, bro. That's kind of it for me. Not gonna lie, bro. I'm pretty crazy.
Well, like, work-wise, I'm a builder. I used to be an embalmer, but I left that, and now I'm just building. But it's all just like working to like support this, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is spare time. Like I'm writing stuff, or sitting down with one of them, working stuff out. Yeah.
I'm in fencing, and it's the same kind of thing as him. It's just sort of work towards the goal to try and hopefully one day be in the industry somehow, you know, whether that's like with the band making it anywhere or just some way in the industry, just doing music full time would be like the ultimate dream.
Sure.
Yeah, man, whether it's sessioning or whatever, just anything like that would be crazy.
Sessioning? Oh yeah, do some session musician
Yeah,
work. Think
man.
about it.
Yeah, especially just like all different types of music kind of would be the cool thing too, like the best outcome. But yeah, but outside of that, that's the main thing for me is just music, man. Like I'm kind of boring otherwise. Don't really do much else. Party up a little bit.
Party up a little bit.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah.
A bit too much.
Pretty much from time to time, yeah, bro.
Oh, you were saying before about the vapes, you know, going hard on the vapes, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Like got this real like smokers fucking grass to it. So.
Well, we would say maybe if the music doesn't work out, we're saying before you could join those vape competitions.
Yeah,
you know?
hell yeah.
blowing those big clouds, you know, fucking
Yeah, I'll support you for that, bro.
have a GoFundMe or something
Yeah,
to
man.
support your vape tour.
And I hope 2006 me comes back and punches me in the head for that. If I ever do it, ever go down that route. But I'm gonna be a success at it too because I'm the best at it.
You might make more money out of it though. That's the sad thing. That's the thing where it's like artistic work and like a lot of like authenticity and then blowing vape clouds.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah,
A lot of
music.
clout in there, as the kids
Yeah.
say.
You have
So
to
much-
come up with a vape name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Bro.
You have a vape performing name.
Oh, bro. I don't even know, man. What would I say? What would it be? What would it be?
The Vapist.
The vapors.
The vape.
That could go one or two ways, though. I feel like that. Yeah,
The
man.
vapist.
We don't condone anything like that,
No.
except for vaping. That's cool.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Fairs, man.
Nah, I mean, hey man, your life, you do what you like, you know, within reason, obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, as many people, do whatever you want. I'm like, oh, maybe not
Yeah,
anything you want. You know, don't want to. Yeah, no. Stephen Hawking did a lot of stuff, didn't he? Anyway, you know.
Yeah, man.
Are we going to talk about that?
Nah,
Are we going to talk about the list?
the list, bro.
The
Bro, has
list
that
of
list
names?
even come out or what?
Did the list come out?
I don't know, but they know like who's like
It was
on there.
supposed to come out at the start of this year, and I tell you what, every day I googled it and I was looking for it, and it never came out. They said so many dates that shit was gonna come out, and it never did.
I think there's people that you can tell that are on there though without reading the list.
Yeah, I don't. It's, that's what you need.
Who would you say would be on there?
Like,
Who's like a main culprit?
I mean, pretty much every president of the United States.
yeah.
For sure.
Oh, Bill.
Running presidents too,
Oh,
though.
Bill.
Bill must have lived there
Oh,
for a bit.
Yeah.
He had like a permanent room, VIP.
Do you reckon Hillary's condoning it though?
I reckon she would have been like doing something next door. Have you heard about those like
She's a reptile.
Well,
She's-
have you? What are those? Oh, it's crazy. I'm not making this up. There's a location somewhere in California of like this stage, and it has like they reckon they like sacrifice children there or shit. do you know?
Bohemian Grove.
Yeah. And got this.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They like worship a big owl statue and they go there with hoods and
Is that the shit where they like where
They
there's that whole
recite
yarn about like
shit.
they like drink baby's blood and fucking
Yeah, there's been
Yeah,
rumors
yeah.
of that. I don't know, but this place is
yeah,
real.
like it's
It
a
is
real place and like
wow.
Somewhere
what's
in
it?
California,
Alex
right?
Jones like snuck in there and
Oh.
he got invited.
Of course,
He got invited there and was like filming there like secretly and like, yeah, but it's a crazy looking place. Like even if they don't do that,
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's still
Why do you
weird.
have this
Yeah.
place?
It's still very strange.
yeah.
It's still weird.
It's almost like weird. Yeah, oh no, that's not true. I was gonna, say it's almost weird if they're not doing something there, but it's like better that they're not. Doing something there, so I'll take that back.
Yeah. You just get so rich and powerful where you just have to do fuck shit to feel anything anymore.
Yeah,
yeah.
sitting in my big mansion, just imagining. You know.
Yeah, it's a strange world we live in.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I don't even know what I'm surprised by anymore. Like,
Yeah,
that's the
I don't
thing
even
these
know.
days,
I
yeah.
like this person. I've got to be careful not to like them too much because something's gonna come
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I know.
You know, like I just don't even. There's the other thing as well. Getting scary at the moment as well is like with like media and that, like what you read, and then it's not just like the media stuff, the content of it. It's like the images and videos now. All they're not even deep fakes, but
Yeah.
AI stuff now looks so fucking good. I'm just like, I don't know.
Bro, it's crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just gonna AI this podcast at some point.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like make up some guests and then just AI myself
Get
with
Michael
people.
Jackson.
Yeah, I'll
Get a table of like Michael Jackson, Tupac.
I'll get Elvis Presley, bro.
Yeah.
And we'll all sit together, and I'm just gonna AI. I'm gonna AI the have Gandhi sit in to give him some words.
Get like the two like most opposite dead political people and put them face to face on AI.
Yeah, and get Gandhi and Stalin or something.
Yeah.
Fuck, that is a mean podcast.
I'd listen to that.
I would listen to the hell
I'd
out of
save
that
it.
podcast, bro. On repeat.
Oh man! Imagine if it even gets that advanced though. You can literally just recreate someone and be like, "All right, download all the information we know about this person, how they spoke, and over from the archives, and put them in this robot, and then just
Well, that's almost kind of like the thing with like if like with the whole Chat GPT thing, and then also like with the whole like AI of voices and shit, man. All they need is kind of like the Vessel at this point. It seems like they just need something like
I saw a
to
video
be there, and then
today,
they can probably.
Joe Biden like singing the Corn song.
I love those videos.
It's so good.
I heard Patrick Starr sing "Freak on a Leash." That
Oh,
was,
yeah.
that's so good.
That's insane, man. Don't they have it like where you can like write songs on AI now? Can't you? Isn't there like a thing where you can like?
You mean like put in prompts to then get like what chord progressions back or something?
Yeah,
Or what do
doesn't
you
it like
mean?
write a whole?
Probably, man.
Yeah, I
mean,
swear
you
you can
can
like,
do
or
that.
maybe you can even like put lyrics in it or like create the melody and everything. I might be like talking shit, but
No, I mean, there's probably some voice AI where you can be like, oh, this is like the lyrics and probably put
Yeah.
in something.
that's crazy.
Yeah, you can do it. Right? I mean, I use you guys had a Midjourney. You guys ever used that? That's like the image AI stuff, but like quite advanced. So you can like you can have any image you want created from it, and like the prompts you can get pretty crazy with them, but you can make anything you want.
Oh whoa.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous.
And then you can use
That's
that, and
next
then there's another program I've used called Pika Labs, I think, and you can make videos out of the AI stuff you've made.
Wow.
That is a little bit more of an involved process, but you can
Yeah.
do it. So it's just all falsified shit. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, man.
And I'm doing it. I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna make up some shit myself.
Yeah, hell
I'll start my own news network.
Yeah, man.
AI inspired something, and then it's like only AI. That's
Bro,
all-
put a link up, chuck it on Facebook, and I guarantee
Yeah.
at least 10,000 people
Yeah.
somewhere are gonna
Yeah.
be like, bro, that guy's like the prophet. He's
Yeah.
he knows everything.
You'll get a little cult
Have you
following.
guys heard of that? What was that? The term called? It's like, damn it! It's on top of my tongue. It's like basically like no one's on the internet but bots essentially. I forgot what. Have you guys heard of that concept before?
No.
I can't remember what it's called. Damn.
Is it like that?
There's a
is
name
it-
for it, but it's like the internet just, as we're already seeing now, like AI influencers and all this wild shit. And there's all these like fake profiles and everything. Just soon, no one's real on the internet anymore, like at all. Like, is that the person? Probably not.
Yeah,
There's,
yeah.
And there's like a, damn it. I'm sure someone will hopefully remind me what that is.
There's
but
like- I
there's a
watched-
term for it.
The new documentary on Netflix about that Ashley Madsen dating thing. Did you hear about that?
No, what's that?
It was like a dating app for married people to have affairs.
Mean.
So like all this shit goes down, but then it turns out like they just had bots on there to make it seem like there were females like registering to it, but there
Yeah.
weren't.
Right.
And so like these guys are paying to talk to these fake bots and like paying because you have to pay to chat to them.
yeah.
It was hilarious. And all these guys that were like, "Oh, I never thought I'd get found out." I'm like, "What?" You're putting all your information on.
Yeah.
One guy got caught out and then like was like,
Go
"Oh, I
get him."
never actually met up with anyone." And I was like,
They're not real.
Yeah, I spent like 10 grand on it, but I haven't
Yeah.
met one yet. Yeah, I don't know if it's me anymore. But fuck.
Monetizing loneliness is genius. I mean, it's sad, but you can, bro.
Yeah, man.
I mean, but
Love
that I mean, that's the like with the whole AI influence or AI OnlyFans. I'm pretty sure that exists. I'm pretty sure that exists. now.
AI OnlyFans.
AI OnlyFans. I'm 90% sure there are accounts
Wow,
now
man.
of AI OnlyFans, and literally like people pay so much money for it. Like lots of people online, massive subscriptions.
What
Yeah.
is it? And is it like actually like a animated person? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I'll maybe afterwards if I can find a video. My mate sent me of like this girl dancing, and it's and it looks like a real person, but it's just that kind of like TikTok kind of like dancing stuff, wearing kind of skimpy clothes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
AI. It's not even a real person.
That's insane. Man.
And people will subscribe and like and then they'll chat to them, and then the responses they get back are probably from a manager or not manager, just whoever made it, right?
Yeah.
Because on OnlyFans, even the OnlyFans, from what I know, is like the if the girls are on there, you're not even talking to the girls. You're talking to like whoever's in charge of the chats.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just all a fucking sham, obviously.
Yeah, man.
But
Damn.
there's a lot
People are
of
out there paying for it, bro.
there's a
People are
lot of
spending their
desperate
hard-earned
motherfuckers out there. That's
Yeah,
one thing. There's a lot of horny, desperate men.
All the feet people.
Yeah, all the feet. Well, yeah.
lovers, bro.
Yeah, we'll take photos of those of your feet and then just put them up online, make some money.
Yeah, bro.
Something else you can think about apart from the vape
That's the
ventures,
marketing,
maybe?
that's the
Vaping
marketing
doesn't
idea,
work
bro.
out.
You
Yeah.
know?
I got ugly feet though, so I don't know. If
But there'll be a category for that somewhere.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Don't worry, you know.
I'm gonna look into this. I
Yeah.
can use the cash man, for sure. we got shit to produce.
Yeah.
We got shit to record, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll be offside feet.
offside feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell
Offside vapes.
OF.
OF.
for feet. OF or something.
So you're gonna grow the business into the vape
Yeah, hell
industry
yeah.
and the feet model, feet
I'll
modeling
take that
pics.
on.
Those
I'll
are
take that
two good markets to get into.
on. Yeah, hell yeah. Let me
You never-
manage, bro. I got us, boys. Don't worry. I'm funding the band with my toes.
I don't know what your feet name's gonna be though.
I don't know. Bro.
Oh yeah, because you got what was it, the Vapist? What's your feet? What's your foot model name gonna
I
be?
don't know, bro. It has to be something about like 4 strings and stomping. I don't know. I'm gonna think on it though. We'll get it, and I'll get you the name, and then we'll come back and do another podcast.
Yeah, and then promote that.
when we're rich and famous off the feet.
Yeah. Because well, forget the music, guys.
Yeah,
Like at this
yeah.
point, you may as well just fucking change it to
man.
this.
Or we'll just like with the feet, just like make all the music with the feet on like a MIDI or some shit, like a keyboard.
We could do like
yeah.
a music video of just like your feet.
Stomping, your
Yeah.
feet stomping, right? Yeah,
That's great. That's some
yeah.
like Quentin Tarantino shit, bro.
Yeah, that is 3 hours of that.
Yeah, literally. Box office hit, bro. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, fucking hell.
It's so yuck, actually. Can we actually like not do that?
Oh, I
Well,
thought you
who was the other guy who loved the feet? Dan Schneider. What was it from Nickelodeon?
Oh, but he's all kinds of fuck.
Oh yeah, but then there's that like Nickelodeon logo of the foot, and you're like, I thought that was just something innocent. No, it's all fucked.
She did Ariana Grande so bad, man.
Oh, didn't he? He did Amanda Bynes real bad. Did you hear about that one?
That's sad.
That's really fucking sad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it's just like manipulating her on set, and like the relationship he was having was like,
Yeah.
pretty gross.
Shout out to Jerry Trainer though, because I only seen the ones about like on the iCarly set and everything.
Oh yeah, he
Where
would like
he's trying to
he
get
would-
close to like Jeanette McCurdy and Miranda Cosgrove and shit, and he's like always doing something to try and get in the way of them, and like he was like the real hero. So shout out to him.
Yeah, it's just fucking yuck that shit. But I'm just like,
That's crazy,
but it's just again like before, people get powerful, and then they're just
Yeah.
like, the law does not apply to me.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the island because I got.
You got the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, Offside Island.
Nah,
Why not? Because island.
because the bro.
No, I reckon we'll do it.
What the island represents. I mean, hey, the Vapist.
Yeah, bro. We'll call it a vapor.
We can do what we want on the island, and people can talk whatever they want about it. If they're talking about us, it's good.
Yeah, any publicity is good
Any
publicity.
publicity.
And when we get asked, we'll just look at them strangely and not answer.
Yeah. It's like, shh.
Yeah.
Say no more. Say no more.
Hell
Do you
yeah.
want to come?
No.
Yeah.
Yuck, bro.
Fucking hell. You guys should get actually, just thought of this now, any collabs potentially for the future.
We've got a friend, Paige Tapera, who I've always wanted to like sing with. I went to school with her, and when I heard her sing, I was like, oh yeah, like she's gonna
Yeah, she's
go
super sick.
pretty far. And she has. She just finished playing with the Jonas Brothers. Was
Oh
it?
wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
super sick.
she's so cool, and she's such a nice person. She's always like come out to our stuff, but yeah, I'd love to sing with her. I don't know how that would work though, because she's like signed, and yeah, I don't know what they're like there.
It'd be a feature of like, or you guys featuring, or you guys could be the band in the back, and then have her. I don't know. I suppose there'll be a way to do it.
Yeah, it's got to be some way.
Damn, that's an opportunity right there.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get like a female vocalist on
Yeah.
like a rocky track, you know. Not like,
Suit your guys' music. You guys have a lot to
yeah.
work with, even if it's a softer song or a heavier
We've
song.
had a song that we've been sitting on for a little while, and it was kind of like about sort of like mental health and everything. And we've been working on it for such a long time that it's always kind of been one that we've kind of come back to and just been like, we need to do something with that. We need to finish it. And I think the idea with that was to have a female vocalist on it as well,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And
like
so,
a different like point of view kind of
Yeah.
storytelling thing.
Yeah, well, especially with something like that. I mean, mental health is a huge umbrella of it can be a lot of things, and everyone has pulls from different places and experiences, and what it
time.
means to you and what it means to that person is something very different, right?
Yeah, man, for sure.
I'm sure you guys got songs like that where you think like you have like some lyrics you write, and then they're about something for you, but then probably to someone like yourself, you're like, oh, this means something different to me.
Yeah, big time. We
So-
actually were talking about this not that long ago, you know, with lyrics and stuff like that. It's just almost how weird it is, how much it, like when it's so one of my favorite songs lyrically from Ethan is Sandview. But when he explained it to me after hearing it for so many times, and I kind of got my own feeling towards what he's talking about, and then hearing his perspective of what he wrote it about, and then being quite different, but the feeling actually being quite similar in a lot of ways, you know, and the stories of what he's writing about compared to how I'm sort of viewing it was like almost polar opposites, or like on both ends of the spectrum, but fully like that's like my favorite lyrics that he's written to this day still. Of all
Yeah,
the
I
songs.
always laugh like looking like how important like time and place is, like writing a song.
Yes.
It was like I was kind of writing it at when I first wrote them, it was like my own like issues, but like listening to it now through all the shit I've been through for the last year, I was like, oh, I was just completely telling the future, and I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it did. And like I was like foreshadowing it like in that song. That's quite funny.
Like you
Yeah.
knew what like you were doing in terms
Yeah.
of like maybe some downward spiraling.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
you predict.
Or just like knowing when to
interesting.
get out of something, but then like you like hesitate, and I was like, oh yeah, you knew. Shame on you.
Yeah, I was talking about a few times on here because there's Rick Rubin talks about how you write a song and you might not even know what it's about until like a few years later. You might think you know what it's about. I've definitely had that experience. It's really fucking weird. I'm assuming you guys probably have that with some of your other material. Like I don't know if you've had that like a year or two later, or you just a year or
Yeah,
two
well, that
later.
really
had
was
that song?
Sandview. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of like about me and the guitarist were going through like relationship problems, and I kind of thought it was about that, but I was like, no, you were fully talking to yourself about like life in general and like what you're going through and like where you're going to be. Yeah. And like almost knowing how to solve the problem, but like ignoring it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
classic like
Yeah,
human.
like you've got to go
oh,
through all the shit just because. Yeah.
You get to the end, yeah.
But
Do you-
even like your favorite artists, like I remember like what Crimson Clover was
yeah.
like the perfect one for me. I was like, oh yeah, nice. But then you get older and you learn what it's about, and you're like, what? Like just crazy, or even mostly like older music, you know, lyrics, and you're like, everyone knows it, loves the song, and but then you like get into the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is kind of fucked up. Like, why? Why? Are you
What was the
singing
one?
that?
I remember the most surprising one for me was Hey Ya by Outkast, and like that's got a like if I remember it right, it's something really dark.
Oh, really?
It's not, but the song's so happy and positive,
yeah.
but it's something very dark. But I can't remember in the moment what it is. But yeah, it does surprise me. Yeah, with that stuff a lot as well. It's funny as well. I look back on like a lot of angsty music I listen to, and I still listen to now. But like Linkin Park is an example I like to use because when I'm a teenager, it's like perfect, like angsty. Fuck you, mom. You don't understand me, world.
Yeah.
And then I get older and I listen to it now, and I'm like, oh, this guy's going through a lot of pain, and then it like resonates in a different way, and I'm just like, oh man, I really didn't really have problems back then. Eh? It's just like, and he's like listening to this, and you're like, the lyrics make sense now, but the music I felt the music so much, whereas now it's like I heard some quote like, when you're younger, you feel the music, when you're older, like you understand the music, something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Well,
that's,
yeah, I always feel sad now when I hear their music.
It
Because you
is
listen to the
sad.
lyrics and you're like, fuck.
It's like it was all right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Like every song is like, help.
it's like it's like crying every song about how like he's struggling. It's just like
But yeah, like you said, you're younger, you hear it, you're like, yeah, fuck everyone.
yeah.
But like, that's not it at all.
no, that was more like Limp Bizkit and shit, but still fire.
Yeah.
I went to that gig. Yeah, it was fucking so. I've seen them 3 times.
Oh,
I don't give a fuck what people say. It's so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't get how you can talk bad about them. They're good.
Yeah, some good riffs, man.
Yeah, it's funny how they've come back in popularity. Though, talk about a bit on this podcast, but I just like people shat on them fucking hard for ages, and I'm just like, oh, I'll come around,
People will get it,
Yeah.
and then it'll be
People will
like,
get
oh, it's cool now. And it's just
He
like,
just started to wear costumes on stage, and people are like, yeah.
yeah. It's like funny. Music goes in like those cycles, all the time. And some things only age like very well much later. Like even it happens with so many things, including like film. I remember for the first time the other day. Oh, well, not the other day, but maybe last year. I watched what was it? Blade Runner. You guys seen the first Blade? You guys seen the first Blade Runner?
Yeah.
Well, when that came out, it didn't really do that well. You know, wasn't really a big deal. But now it's like this cult classic, amazing film. You know, filmography and story and all that. And it's like, yeah, just funny. Like, what's another one from that time period? I haven't watched it. Was it Clockwork Orange? You guys seen that movie? You heard
No,
about
I've
that
been
one?
told to watch it though. Yeah.
That's another one that's like at the time was just too dark, too like edgy for the time, and like didn't do very well. And then later on, it's like again classic. You know, it's funny with that stuff.
Yeah, I went through a big phase like 4 years ago with like film and music, like looking at real old shit. Like I got into like a 50s like mode with like music, and I was like well into it, but I remember being younger and like hearing it and being like, what the fuck is that? Like, all these, like,
Ooh, yuck.
yeah, what is all these doo-wop fucking bullshit? But then I'm like, yeah, I'd be sitting there in the car like blasting it out, and then there's like an old lady looking at me like, what? How are you listening to that? But
Yeah.
even like film, like going back to like black and white film, it's great.
Film noir. Like the original Psycho. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny like watching that and just the effects and the creativity of what they would do back then to get. It's really cool. It depends on what lens you want to look at the movie through. Like I'm here to be. It's like going to a Marvel film. I'm not here for story. I'm here to be entertained. You know, I understand some people love it and that, but I can't really watch those movies at home. But in the movie theater,
Like
I'm
a
like,
Marvel movie.
yeah, well, like those big budget ones. I'm like, this is made for the cinema. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
But then it's like, yeah, maybe film noir, or like, you know, some more of those cult classics. Or if you watch like, what's another one? Like Shawshank Redemption or something.
Yeah.
It's like, that's, you know, I can watch that, but, you know, I'm not
I
gonna...
always feel a little bit like I'm not the biggest movie watcher in the world, but I think I always revert back to sort of like those like the 90s. I don't know, it's something about just like the quality of the cameras and the films and shit, and just like even the sound and everything, and I don't know, it just feels a bit, I don't know whether it's just a nostalgia trap or something, or just because those are the movies like when I'm 5 years old I'm like watching, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that to me now is, I guess it goes off the same thing as what you're saying. Like I wouldn't particularly go to the movies and watch those, but if I'm chilling at home or whatever and I want to cut something on while I'm just like laying in my bed kicking back or whatever, something like that almost kind of fits that, like chilling in the room or watching it in the living room kind of thing, you know. I don't know, it's just something about the feel of that. That's why I like those like 90s movies probably more.
Yeah, I feel like these days you get like a problem with like people getting stuck in a character, and they'll be in another movie, but you're like, oh, you're the same guy, like you're that same character, but like different situation.
It's like
And it's real
typecasting or
hard.
something. Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of existed for a little while though. Like, I'm trying to think of an actor top of my head, but I was about to say Keanu Reeves, but then again, he was in Bill and Ted, and that was like a complete switch up. I remember the first time I saw him was in like Matrix, and then I think I saw what was the other one? Like Speed, and there was a few other like kind of those action films, and then I saw Bill and Ted, and I'm just like, what? He can be goofy.
Or even like Robert De Niro or someone who's like, well, more so like Joe Pesci, who's like always the mob dude, you know, like in how many fucking mob movies.
I love Robert De Niro though.
He's super sick. Yeah.
But then Joe
Taxi.
Pesci in like Home Alone? He's like the he's like the PG mobster.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, big time. So he's still kind of typecast.
Yeah, he still is. I watched Home Alone 2. Actually, it was one of the first time. I only watched it last year. I never seen the whole thing before, and just watching like what's the main kid's name? I always forget. But he was like throwing bricks at people, like throwing bricks at them, and like had all these traps.
Some of
and
them
I'm like,
are
you watch
pretty
it,
bad.
you're like
a
damn,
nail
bro.
through the foot on the
you're
stairs.
like,
I was
this kid's fucking psychotic.
Well, bro, if he's been left at home on a trip to France and his whole
but
family's just
as a
booked
kid,
it, bro.
what are you reading or watching to know to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He had like a full paint can swinging down.
Yeah.
Isn't he like the
That's
bullied
messed up.
younger brother too, though?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
He's
So-
been holding that anger
yeah.
for so long. He's
Just-
like, bro, just waiting for
If
something.
you push someone enough.
Yeah.
just torture people for the rest of
Yeah,
your life.
pretty much,
It's
man.
like, don't fucking beat up your brother, maybe. Maybe not that much. Yeah, that was the other one, like that first movie. It's just like, how did they have 10 kids living in that house? Like,
Yeah, bro. It's like Cheaper by the Dozen.
yeah.
Like how they.
Yeah, they seem to get along
those
so
movies,
well, and you're like,
yeah.
no,
There's
bro.
no fucking way, bro.
Yeah,
was
there's
not.
no way. No one's got that kind of money. For sure. All right, lads. I think we're nearing-ish the end. I'll do some quick-fire questions for you fellas, and we'll see how we go. All right. So I like to generally ask this one is favorite piece of gear that you've got? Musical gear, not the drugs.
I was gonna say, oh no, I can't think. Of it.
There's too many.
So
to choose
many.
from.
There's so many drugs on me right now.
What haven't I had in a while?
It's gonna be super basic, but literally probably just my bass because I haven't really got a hat.
What kind of bass?
I got a Japanese Fender Jazz.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so and I'm super stoked with
So it
it.
was built in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, so and after buying it, I've just not ever fallen out of love with it. After a year, it still excites me to pick it up. So, yeah, that'd be my favorite piece.
Mine at the moment, it's not actually mine. It's Mitchell's, but the Sunburst pedal.
Sunburst pedal. Oh, I
The
did.
Strowman.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Is that for like an acoustic?
No, electric. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So the sunburst pedal.
yeah,
It's like
Right.
overdrive. It's like
Overdrive.
overdrive.
yeah.
Distortion.
But there's like
Okay.
two like sides to it, and you can like push them through each other, or like just have them like side by side. It's real
Okay.
good. It's real good for like what I'm trying to sound like on the guitar at
Cool.
the moment. Yeah.
I don't know why my head went straight to like acoustic guitars because they have the sunburst finish. Anyway, I was looking
Right,
for something else. Something else is like-
Stratocaster in a
Yeah.
acoustic version.
Yeah. I don't know why I went there. As another fun one I like to ask musicians is craziest gig experience. Can be at your own gig, can be at a show you've been to. What's one of like the craziest or strangest things you've seen or witnessed?
Seen this one dude who got kicked out for taking drugs at Ding Dong Lounge. Tried to fight the security guard who was like 3 times his size.
Oh, yeah.
And he was trying to convince it. Do you remember
yeah,
that? He was out on
Another
the street
day.
and he's like, "Bro, I'm not on fucking drugs, bro. Like, what do you think I'm on drugs? What do I look like I'm on drugs? You can check my pockets."
He like
bro."
dropped his pants. He's
Yeah.
like, "Look, I got nothing," and like lifted his shirt
pulled
up.
his shirt up. He's like, "Bro, I'm not on drugs, bro. I'm like, seriously, check me." And it's like, bro,
I felt bad for the security guard.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, just trying to step him out.
weirdest thing I saw at R&B, a guy like right in the mosh, he just dropped his pants, took a shit. Yeah, everyone opened up. I was like, "Oh, there's a pit happening! Like, why is there
Yeah.
a pit happening at the DJ set?"
Yeah.
And then I was like,
guy.
"What's that guy doing?" He's like, "Oh, he's my mate, bro. He's taking a shit." And I was like, "Oh, come on."
That's insane.
Way too many drugs.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, that was yeah, that's a second poo story we've had on here. I've had on here. Yeah. I've had another guy talk about he actually he slipped in shit at a gig.
Surely not the same one.
No. This was a guy from Voodoo Blue.
Oh,
Rory,
I see.
and there's that venue in Wellington called Valhalla. That's right.
Oh,
And then
okay.
apparently it's can be a bit of a
Whole.
bit of a whole venue apparently. But
way.
he slipped in shit. And I'm like, that's a second poo story. God,
That's
man.
crazy.
I don't know what I'd do if I got someone else's shit on me.
Bro.
And if you knew who it was,
Yeah.
I think I'd be so mad.
I don't think you can control it.
I don't think I think I'd be so angry and disgusted that I don't know what I'd do with myself.
Yeah.
Like how insulting.
Yeah.
Is there any more? It's a pretty big insult. Like getting someone else's
Literally
poo.
getting shat on.
Yeah, literally slipping in someone's poo or something.
Yeah, bro.
Like I've been vomited on, which was fucking horrific. But when people are sick or super drunk, it's like fuck, all right, whatever. It doesn't seem as bad as poo.
Yeah. It's like the worst. It's like next to like pissing on someone.
Well,
You know,
some
like
people
that
like
was-
Some
that,
people
like-
pay for
Yeah,
that
that's true,
service,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Some people
What
pay
is
for
king
that.
shame.
What is it?
Yeah,
Golden
no king
shower.
shaming
Yeah,
on the
no king
podcast,
shaming
right?
from the boys.
Yeah,
but
don't be like
at
that.
the same time, not for me.
Open-minded, you know.
Yeah, true. Sorry, guys. Sorry to all the people that piss on people and like getting pissed on. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it, but
People are special. All right. Next one I've got is outside of the gigs. What's your favorite pastime to do when you're chilling?
Five Knuckle Shuffle.
Oh. Sorry, it's from South Auckland. Sorry.
Is this just like scrapping or something?
Nah, I'm not gonna go into that.
No, you got to know.
With myself, it's like winking, pretty much.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The five knuckle shuffle. All makes sense. For some reason, it just feels like having like a fight or something. I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever floats the boat.
Nah, pastime. Yeah, I suppose like, I don't know, you answer this one.
I know. I still do it now, but I've got 2 dogs, and I just like being alone with them. Yeah.
That's cool.
Just cruising.
Yeah, they always do what they're told, and they never talk back. That's great.
Dream.
Yeah.
They're good dogs too. Good dogs.
You guys live out like, are you both rural, or is it you guys?
Yeah.
Is it
A bit more townhouse.
bit more townhouse stuff? Yeah, sweet. Okay, I think I was gonna ask like, what's like the strangest like farm animal experience you had? I don't know why. I just thought of that.
Strangest farm.
Yeah.
I seen a cow get shat on by another cow once. I suppose that's the third shit story.
Fair
But yeah,
that's good.
Yeah,
That cow might have been into it.
well, fair
No
enough.
king shame.
Yeah, I know, man.
You keep doing that.
Man. I didn't say, I didn't kink shame. I just said that was the story. That cow can do whatever he wants. I'm not telling him how to live his life. He didn't tell me how to live mine. You shit on whoever you want, cow.
We were driving through like Hanua Gorge, and me and my friend saw a goat like up on this mountain. Like he was way up, and we're like, "Oh, look at that goat!" And he was like, "Imagine if he jumped." And I was like, and this thing just like launched, landed on the bonnet of the car. I think
No
it was
way.
a leg. Yeah, it was like he heard and he was like, "Fucking watch this, bro!" Boom. It was like a leg through the car. It was It was
Popping a
pretty-
manu, but on
Yeah, so
your
we
car.
pulled over and just were like, "What happened?" Yeah, that was probably the craziest. Yeah, bloody goats, mate. Wild goats out.
Yeah, they're
South
crazy.
Auckland.
So when we first moved to Pookie when I was a kid, we used to live down this like big country road, and it was like on Atwell Road in Pookie. So it's kind of like a big long driveway, and there's like a bunch of country houses and shit. And one of the neighbors got a goat, and they had like a big long wire that used to run up the whole street. And that goat would like chase cut like any of the cars would come down and, like buck the fuck out of them because it wasn't like wasn't the biggest driveway either, so you kind of only had so much space before you're like hitting the side. And this goat and I used to walk, and if I get off the bus from school and I walk down, sometimes he's off the lead, and he would fucking charge me, and I would have to. And some days I'd forget my key, bro, and I'd be like jumping on my trampoline trying to escape this fucking killer goat. He was a cunt, and I hate him forever.
Should have just run it straight.
Bro.
Should have given it the
I
five.
was smaller than I am now. Like I was like in intermediate, I was like 50 kgs. Like,
Should have given it the five knuckle shuffle. You know?
Yeah. For real, man. If I ever see him again, bro, he's getting FU'd. He's getting FU'd. I'm gonna tap him out.
No, goats can be scary though, and they're all
Fucked, bro.
related to like Satanism and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you not
I mean,
say
they can be. It's like the 666.
Yeah. That new painting of King Charles, and someone
yeah.
mirrored it, and they're like, "Look," and it looks like
A goat.
Looks
like I doubt it was meant for that, but yeah, right in the middle, bro, it looks like a fucking goat head, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's a weird painting though."
Yeah.
It's like all red, and like you can like just see his face.
That
I was
guy will
like,
be dead soon. Like, let's just be honest.
Hopefully he's the only goat human walking around.
unless he's one of those lizard people.
Lizard people. Well, the queen was, so you know.
Yeah, man.
Might have just swapped skins.
I think anyone that looks like that over the age of like 50 is a reptile, really.
Like the Rothschild guy, the
Oh,
real
yeah,
older.
yeah.
You see photos
Damn,
of him,
bro,
and you're like,
we could get
"What
into
is
another whole thing about that.
I'll come back to talk to you about that, man.
bro. Damn, we can go down that rabbit hole. Yeah,
Oh,
but we're
yeah,
running out
that'd
of
be
time.
great.
God damn. Oh, well, thanks for coming on, lads.
Thanks for having
Before,
us,
Thanks for having us, man.
before we head off, is there anything you guys want to shout out or promote or say before we head off?
What a EP out now. We have some more shows coming up. We're doing a show with Capricorn and a couple other bands on the 21st of June, which is cool. We have another
Is
we have
that
some
cassette
more-
as well?
Man.
Cassette 9 as well,
Sick,
yeah.
sick,
So
sick.
people should come through to that. We're currently recording some more music at the moment too for another project, which will hopefully be either within the year or early next year for release. So yeah, that's
Yeah, we should have 1 or 2 singles drop like at least in 2 months.
yeah,
I'd say.
Cool.
yeah. So we got some music coming too for people to get excited about,
Yeah.
and an OnlyFans too.
Yeah.
OnlyFans Feet Finder.
OnlyFans feet. Finally got vapes coming out.
Vapes coming out,
Yeah.
man. Help us fund an island.
Yeah. Offside Island.
Offside Island. Yeah. everyone that subscribes in the first 50 subscribers gets to come to the island for
Yeah,
free.
you get
Fuck
one
yeah.
free visit.
You get one free visit.
Yeah.
You have to show your feet at the door.
Yeah, that's like ID.
That's like their passport,
Yeah.
but like to get on the
Yeah,
plane.
it's like your feet ID to get into the island.
Yeah.
Islanders. Fuck, that was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thank
really
you, man.
appreciate
Cheers,
it.
bro.
And
Cheers,
thanks
cheers.
everyone for listening. See you guys later. Bye.
See you.
Sure.